Next on Weather Underground, hurricane warnings now up for portions of the west coast of Florida as Elsa strengthens. And our hurricane expert, Dr. Rick Knapp, goes in depth on everything you need to know, plus live team coverage as Elsa continues to batter the Sunshine State with strong winds and heavy rain.
The impacts from this storm to spread well beyond landfall in Florida. We're going to show you where conditions will deteriorate from Georgia into the mid-Atlantic. That's coming up next on Weather Underground.
Hi, everyone. Welcome in. We've got special live coverage for you here of Tropical Storm Elsa. I'm Mike Bettis.
And I'm Jackie Jarris. We want to get right to our hurricane expert, Dr. Rick Knapp. We've got the 5 o'clock advisory, and now officially expected to become a hurricane, Dr. Knapp.
Yes, and that was anticipated based on what happened in the early afternoon when the recon went in there, found the 70-mile-an-hour winds. Hurricane Center issued the special advisory to put up that hurricane warning, and essentially that means they're forecasting hurricane conditions somewhere within that warning area. Now, we haven't had recon in there for a little bit, so there's nothing, really recent from the plane that would cause the Hurricane Center to up the winds from 70 miles an hour. So this is largely based on extrapolation from the previous recon mission. Pressure 998 moving just to the west of due north at 10 miles an hour. Here's that mission that found the 70-mile-an-hour winds. They are now departing, but we will have another plane in there this evening before it makes landfall. And we have a number of changes to the watches and warnings that we've seen today, and the big news is, of course, the hurricane warning. Now, I will point out that there's not a huge difference between a 70-mile-an-hour tropical storm and a 74, 75-mile-an-hour hurricane, but that's where we draw the line, right? 74, and that requires the hurricane warning, and it goes from the Tampa Bay area northward there, but a large area under a tropical storm warning. So even if you don't get hurricane conditions, a lot of you are going to be in line for tropical storm conditions. Tampa Bay area, it's going to be late tonight or maybe just after midnight. And then you've also got the storm surge warning, which is still in effect for the Tampa Bay area going northward. And we're still expecting 3 to 5 feet of saltwater flooding above normally dry ground, maybe in the Tampa Bay area. And Mike, we also got the water problems from the rainfall. The flood watch is in effect for much of the Florida Peninsula.
All right, Dr. Knapp, thank you so much for that. And 34 counties in Florida under a state of emergency as Elsa continues to strengthen off the west coast. Joining us now with an update is Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. Governor DeSantis, thank you much for being with us. Moment of truth right now. How well prepared do you feel the west coast of Florida is right now?
Oh, I think they're prepared. We've had an opportunity, and I personally have spoken with a number of the local leaders all up and down that coast. They were begun preparations when we knew this could be an event several days ago. They're ready, and they're prepared to respond if there's any significant impacts afterwards. So in the state, we're offering whatever support we can. But to be honest, most of them haven't requested very much because they are ready for this.
Governor, could you paint the overall picture for us in terms of evacuations, either for storm surge or people in mobile homes? What's the message to folks who might be told to leave?
Well, the message is listen to your local emergency managers. That's going to be done on a local basis. As of now, we don't anticipate any widespread evacuations. I think what we've seen is people who are special needs or energy dependent who may not be able to withstand a lengthy power outage. And then there may be some low-lying areas where one of the county officials may say to evacuate, but not on a widespread basis. And so we're just asking people, listen to your local folks. If they do issue one of those orders, we think it'll be very narrow. But if you are in one of those areas, they're doing that because of the potential impacts of things like the storm surge.
We've had some tough conditions already today in Southwest Florida and into the Keys, but conditions will get worse tonight in some really populated areas. What are you most concerned about?
Well, I think when you're talking about places like Tampa Bay, obviously there's a lot of impacts in terms of the flooding that could happen. And then as it rides up the coast, it will, of course, enter Florida, probably somewhere in our nature coast, and then go all the way through northeast Florida. Any place north of Tampa Bay has gotten a lot of rain over the last couple of weeks. And so this would be an event where we would see flash flooding anyways. But I think it's going to be exacerbated by how saturated northern Florida is. And then I think, as you guys have pointed out, we do see the risk of tornadoes being spun off from this thing. It's a very lopsided storm. Just because that eye is in the Gulf of Mexico, that does not mean that there can be impacts very far inland, particularly if there are tornadoes.
Governor, we certainly know that Florida is no stranger to these kind of systems, but do you have any concern that people may not be taking it all that seriously because it is, quote, just a tropical storm?
So what we try to do is we do not try to spin people up. We don't say the world's going to end. We try to provide information very factually. And I think people appreciate that because sometimes there can be a hysteria whipped up. We're not trying to do that. We're trying to give them the facts. We've been sending the message to take it seriously. And also, we've been delivering the message over the last 4 years. There have actually been more fatalities resulting from people responding to storms, either having a generator inside their house or falling off the roof when they're trying to trim tree branches. So we're sending the message, if you do have power outage and you are using a generator, do not allow the exhaust to go inside your home or inside the garage or even right next to the window. Make sure it has distance. And then if you do have some branches or any types of problems, just make sure you're being safe when you're dealing with that. That has been a big concern of ours based on our recent experience here in Florida.
Governor, I can think of a lot of reasons why people would not want to be on the roads during this event. Look what happened in the tropical storm on slick roads in Alabama earlier this year. Trees coming down, flash flooding. I want to give you a chance to urge people to maybe stay off the roads.
Oh, yeah, please. Now's not the time to be going on any joy rides. One thing that, because it's going to be impacting the Tampa Bay area at night and then really into the wee hours of the morning all the way through, hopefully there wouldn't be people on the roads in large numbers anyways, but now's not the time to want to go on the roads. And so just stay put if you can. I think that the safety is the better course.
Governor, we've had back-to-back very extreme tropical seasons. Florida's been hit hard in the last few years. Are there certain areas that are still sort of in recovery mode that you're concerned about being particularly vulnerable?
Well, I think our biggest storm in the last few years has been Hurricane Michael. There's a long-term recovery going on in the Florida Panhandle. We don't believe that there's going to be impacts in any significant way from this storm. And that's something that we always look at as you see these things get into the Gulf of Mexico. The Panhandle is a habitual landing spot for these. Every single model has this thing bearing northeast into the Nature Coast or the Big Bend. And so in that sense, not having to deal with it in Panama City and some of those areas, that is helpful because there's been a lot of progress made there, but there was so much damage because it was a Category 5 storm that there's still rebuilding being done to this day.
Well, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, thanks so much for your time. Best of luck to you, and we'll hopefully talk to you maybe on a sunny day. Wouldn't that be nice if we could actually talk to you on a nice dry day at some point? But appreciate your time. Thank you.
We'll get that done. No problem. Thanks, guys.
Let's do it. Jackie?
All right. Well, the west coast of Florida, of course, getting ready and getting some impacts already from Tropical Storm Elsa as it spent some time over the warmer waters now of the Gulf before making landfall, likely tomorrow morning sometime. The Weather Channel's Justin Michaels is live in Sarasota, Florida today. Justin, you've had some squalls come through there. What has today been like?
I'll tell you what, Jackie, we had a really nasty squall come through, and in fact, at the airport when that squall came through, they were clocking a sustained. I mean, it was gust, but I'll tell you, it was in my face for the entire time, about 45 miles per hour. So it was more than just a blowing gust. And we have got a nice sustained wind coming through right now. I think at the airport it's showing around 12 miles per hour, but it's a lot more than that standing here right now. So what are we looking at? Well, you can see Elsa is right there, and we see those clouds continuing to get darker and darker and darker as the storm continues to move to the north. And we do know that as this storm does move to the north, we are going to see, 50 mile per hour gusts, maybe more than that. We're already talking about the National Hurricane Center saying this will likely become a hurricane before it makes landfall. So could we see 50, 60, 70 mile per hour gusts here in Sarasota? It certainly is possible. But remember, the wind that's coming through right now, because we're still on the northern side of the storm, is an offshore breeze. It's going out to the Gulf. Once it passes us a little bit, the center line passes us, and we're on the southern side of the storm, that's going to start coming in again, and that's the concern for the storm surge flooding. And that's going to be a major issue. The good news is, just like Governor DeSantis just said, that's not going to happen until much later tonight, into the overnight hours, into the early morning hours here. So hopefully everybody's just going to be inside. But the Director of Emergency Management here in Sarasota County is talking to us today about sheltering in place and what people should do if they feel they need to evacuate or whatnot. So listen to him right now. It's better to hear it from him than me. Listen.
So we've advised people that don't feel comfortable to go ahead and leave and evacuate, but those others, based on the effects we're expecting from this storm, from our professionals at the National Weather Service, we've asked them to shelter in place and stay inside during the impact of the major rain and wind bands that come through.
It's so important to just do that. Best thing you can do, stay in your hotel, stay in your house. Don't be looky-loos going out to see what's happening around town. The best thing to do, Dr. Knabb, is stay indoors. And Dr. Knabb, you were talking about this earlier, and we know this. The difference between the tropical storm and then if it does go to a Category 1, those few miles per hour in wind speed, we're not going to be able to notice them. So one more reason, Dr. Knabb, and I know you as the former director of the National Hurricane Center probably got frustrated by this from time to time, but the classification isn't as important as people staying safe. A high-end tropical storm and a low-end Category 1 hurricane, who cares about the name? Make sure you stay safe.
Yeah, and we have to deal with all the hazards individually, whether they're water or wind, coastal or inland, because only a few people will get the hurricane force winds if it becomes a hurricane anyway. So we're still mostly dealing with the impacts of a strong tropical storm, and that can be a long list of very dangerous, even life-threatening impacts. And the path is not good relative to much of the Florida Peninsula. Just because you're out of the cone doesn't mean things are looking good for you. In fact, in some ways it's bad because the storm is so right-loaded that the areas outside the cone to the east are largely going to get the worst of the weather. And then, when exactly it makes landfall isn't all that important, except for to the right of where it comes ashore. That's where the storm surge will be maximized. But again, if you're on the right side, you're going to more likely get that onshore flow, and much of the Gulf Coast of Florida will experience that. And it is a lopsided storm because there is wind shear in the atmosphere. See this trough in the middle and upper levels here? That is serving to tilt the vortex, basically, the column where the low pressure is, and that is forcing the thunderstorms to be more east loaded and right loaded. But it's not enough to overcome the fuel from the Gulf of Mexico and to tear it apart. So we've got something that doesn't have much in way of rain on the west side, but the east side, it is loaded up. And again, that's where the stronger winds are. That's where the onshore flow is, right into the Gulf Coast of Florida. And right now, it's mostly the southwestern part of the Gulf Coast of the Florida Peninsula. But increasingly, the farther north this gets, the more the onshore flow will happen in a place like Tampa Bay, and the stronger the winds will get. And even on the southeast side of this, the trailing part of it, it's still gusting over 40 and 50 in Key West. And even on the east coast of Florida, it's kind of gusty, 20 to 30 miles an hour at times. Now, the strong winds, especially on the west coast, starting to make their way north, as Justin was talking about. It's gusting at 25 at Sarasota. Things will be going downhill in Tampa as we go forward. And there you can really get a good look at how sheared the system is. We don't usually get, for a top-end tropical storm, that good of a look at the low-level clouds. And you can see why you're going to have an onshore push. Those low-level clouds are just pushing the Gulf of Mexico waters into the coastline. And this area here, where you've got the really strong returns on the radar and those lightning bolts, that is something tropical storms sometimes do better than hurricanes, generate a lot of lightning even in the inner core. This is going to have a lot of wind in it, damaging wind. This I'd be sheltering like you would for a tornado when this comes ashore. So if trees come down, you're in a safe place, lowest level, most interior room. In mobile homes, probably not the best place to be. These gusts are just the beginning of what we're going to be seeing. And if you look at also the rain problems, this is the beginning of the flood problem. We've got a flood advisory for the Naples area, and that goes until 6:15 local time. We're going to have a lot more flooding, more and more that core coming on shore. So here's the gust later tonight. It's going to be really starting to blow in Tampa later tonight, guys.
All right, Dr. Nab, let's talk about what winds you can expect a little farther to the north of there and in northern Florida and even into southern parts of Georgia. This is this evening where we could see some winds around 10 to as much as 25 miles per hour. But as we head through the overnight, they're going to start to pick up along the Nature Coast up towards the Big Bend area. That's when 30 to 35 mile per hour gusts will begin to push into the region. Then notice widespread. This is kind of that window where we think landfall could be taking place, and the worst in the core of the winds begins to move in. About 10, 11 o'clock tomorrow morning, Gainesville, Lake City could even get a wind gust up to 50 miles per hour. So those are damaging winds and could lead to some power outages. Beware of that. Jacksonville, you're going to be on the east side, way east side of the storm, but you're still going to have some significant impacts. And look at your winds, which are going to be coming in southerly throughout the duration. So you're going to have some onshore flow, could get a little surge coming up to St. John's. Now, in terms of showers and thunderstorms, this is a part of Florida that's had a lot of rain as of late. So we really don't need any additional rainfall. And unfortunately, Mike, you can see the bands beginning to push in, especially late tomorrow. And those are going to be heavy. We could be talking about 2 to 4, maybe even as much as 5, 6, 7 inches of rain.
From over. Jackie, thank you. Still to come, we continue to track Elsa and the imminent landfall in Florida. More live coverage from the Florida West Coast when we come back on Weather Underground.
Riders, the lone wolves of the Great Highway. All they need is a bike and a full tank of gas. Their only friend, the open road.
I have friends.
Well, he may have friends, but he rides alone.
That's Jeremy right there. We're literally riding together.
He gets touchy when you talk about his lack of friends.
Can you help me out here?
No matter why you ride, Progressive has you covered with protection starting at $79 a year.
Well, I wouldn't need friends, to be fair. And still.
My heart failure diagnosis changed my priorities. I want time for the people I love. My heart doesn't pump enough blood, so my doctor gave me Farxiga. It helps my heart do its job better. Farxiga helps keep me living life and out of the hospital for heart failure.
Do not take if allergic to Farxiga. Symptoms of a serious allergic reaction include rash, swelling, difficulty breathing or swallowing. Stop taking and seek medical help right away. Tell your doctor right away if you have red color in urine or pain while you urinate or a genital area infection, since a rare but serious genital infection may be life-threatening. Do not take Farxiga if you have severe kidney problems or are on dialysis. Other serious side effects include dehydration, sudden kidney problems, genital yeast and bacterial infections in women and men, urinary tract infections, and low blood sugar. Stop taking Farxiga and call your doctor right away if you have symptoms of ketoacidosis, which is serious and may lead to death.
More time with her? Sounds good to me.
Farxiga.
If you can't afford your medication, AstraZeneca may be able to help.
Parents have a way of imagining the worst, especially when your easily distracted teenager has the car. At Subaru, we're taking on distracted driving with sensors that alert you when your eyes are off the road. The Subaru Forester. The safest Forester ever.
At Loan Depot, we know home means everything. As America's lender and the official mortgage provider of Major League Baseball, we fund more than 30,000 home loans each month, saving you money and providing mortgage solutions that are personalized, convenient, and fast, and tailored to the most important home team of all, yours. Give us a call at 844-751-LOAN or visit us online today. Loan Depot, home purchase, home refinance, and the official mortgage provider of Major League Baseball.
Hi, Verizon launched the first 5G network, and now we want to be the first to give everyone the joy of 5G by giving every customer a new 5G phone on us. Old customers, new customers, families, businesses, in-laws, law firms. Every customer, new 5G phones when you trade in your old ones. And if you're not a customer, we'll help cover the cost to switch. Just ask Wanda. She's been with us since now. Upgrade your phone, upgrade your network.
Mother Nature gives you a warning sign. Get ready for something big.
Dry eye symptoms keep driving you crazy? Inflammation in your eye might be to blame. Let's kick Ken's ache and burn into gear.
Over-the-counter eye drops typically work by lubricating your eyes and may provide temporary relief.
Those drops will probably pass right by me.
Xiidra works differently, targeting inflammation that can cause dry eye disease.
What is that? Xiidra!
It can provide lasting relief. Xiidra is the only FDA-approved non-steroid treatment specifically for the signs and symptoms of dry eye disease. 1 drop in each eye twice a day. Don't use if you're allergic to Xiidra. Common side effects include eye irritation, discomfort, or blurred vision when applied to the eye, and unusual taste sensation. Don't touch container tip to your eye or any surface. After using Xiidra, wait 15 minutes before reinserting contacts.
Got any room in your eye?
Be proactive about managing your symptoms by talking to your doctor about twice daily Xiidra like I did.
I prefer you didn't.
Xiidra. Not today, dry eye.
A severe thunderstorm watch is in effect. Currently in our area, 94 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Tonight, thunderstorms early. A few storms may be severe early. Low 75. Wednesday, sunshine and some clouds. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. High 94. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Around here, they say if you don't like the weather, just wait a minute.
I love to watch the waves after a storm. The storm can be long gone, but the waves just keep going.
Ask my history teacher where to go to college. He said, go where you like the weather. Best advice I've ever gotten.
Get into the out there. The Weather Channel.
The story yesterday in the lower Keys, deteriorating conditions, especially overnight as Elsa made the approach. The story today in Key West, improving conditions. I'm meteorologist Felicia Combs. Thanks for sticking with us for our continuing coverage of Tropical Storm Elsa, where the weather has been steadily improving since this morning here in the lower Keys. We went from tons of rain, very gusty winds, even gusting upwards around 70 miles per hour earlier today, to still, though, tropical force sustained gusts at times since midnight here in Key West. Take a look at the scenes that we saw earlier with some of the video that we picked up. It definitely had some street flooding across portions of Key West. You can see some of the cars driving through the flooded streets here. A lot of the streets that are flood prone here in Key West, you're no stranger to that, did see some of that flooding. Now the good news is the rain has been over for hours. The bad news is you did see quite a bit of that earlier on. Now the focus is going to be switching to more of a cleanup type of mode here in Key West. Once these winds start to come down, they're going to get out here and clean up all of this seaweed that's been washed ashore, clean up the different palm fronds that have also dropped. Now still pretty wavy, the water of the Florida Straits still kind of stirred up, as obviously we do not have Elsa that far away. But we are seeing these conditions continuing to improve here in Key West. And by tomorrow, other than, you know, the palm fronds that are left behind and the seaweed that you see here, you're going to have a much different day. The weather will be much prettier. It's going to be a lot less breezy. You're back to your typical summertime pattern in Key West by tomorrow. But, you know, it has been the tale today, Jackie. We started out with Paul Goodloe earlier this morning, just absolutely getting hammered by the wind and the rain, to where we are now. It's still very windy, but that's going to continue to improve as we head through the overnights. At least here in the lower Keys, of course, deteriorating conditions as you look farther north.
Quickly, farther north. Jackie, thanks, Felicia, thanks so much for the update there. Want to give the very latest right now on Tropical Storm Elsa. Has been intensifying today and may indeed, through the next couple of hours of the night, become a hurricane again. 70-mile-per-hour winds right now, north movement at 10 miles per hour, putting it about 155 miles south-southwest here of Tampa, Florida. And the cone, you know, it brings it right toward Tampa, or maybe just north of Tampa here as we go through the evening. But tornado watch is in effect across southern and central Florida, so that that will include Tampa, Alligator Alley, down toward Fort Lauderdale and Miami, all these locations. Be on the lookout. Some of these outer bands could indeed produce tornadoes. We have had a few areas at risk for tornadoes. Again, it's going to be some of these outer bands that I think would be most at risk for getting those tornadoes, not necessarily so much near the core or the center here. And you can see that even, very clear circulation there on the radar as it makes its way farther north here. But some of these bands even down here could produce some severe weather. The gusts, they're starting to pick up now. Key West gusting to 41. Naples, we've been pretty gusty throughout the evening. Same for you here in Fort Myers. So anticipate these winds potentially to only get worse as we go through the evening and then increase heading through Tampa and points northbound from there. But you look at that spin there in the Gulf of Mexico, Dr. Nab, and all I can think of right now is that water getting into Tampa Bay.
Yeah, and Mike, if it's timed with the high tide, the onshore push is, then that could maximize the storm surge flooding. So we're going to talk about how the timing of all this is going to play out. And right now, we don't have any gauges on the west coast of Florida that are measuring any storm surge flooding above normally dry ground. But that's because we haven't maximized the onshore push, and we've come out of high tide, headed toward low tide over the next few hours. Then it'll be overnight tonight when those two factors, the onshore push and the tide, will start to combine. So that's why the forecast, when you combine the effects of storm surge and high tide, that's what results in these numbers that are a forecast of the storm surge flooding above normally dry ground. And it could be 3 to 5 feet in and around Tampa Bay, down to Inglewood, even up into the Florida Big Bend. That's where the largest values could occur, but we could have some flooding elsewhere along the coast. Now, this is not widespread kind of community-wide storm surge flooding that's going to cause massive evacuations, but there could be a few of you who are dealing with water getting close to your homes and certainly covering some coastal roads. Now look at the timing of low tide here for Tampa. It's coming up in the next 3 hours, but high tide will be between midnight and breakfast time. So let's look at the timing relative to Tampa Bay, just to give you an example here. So here's midnight, the European depiction on where the circulation will be, and here's 3 a.m. So this is getting close to high tide. So if the center is just offshore, this will be a potential problem for the northern part of Tampa Bay because it'll be pushing from south to north. And not long after that, this is only a couple hours after high tide, you'll have the flow going into the bay. So that's why there is the potential for the 3 to 5 feet in Tampa Bay. And it's not just going to be Tampa Bay, it's areas north of there that are going to have the onshore push as well. And what if we have a lot of rainfall flooding? There could be salt water and fresh water combining to cause inundation.
Some days, you just don't have it. Not my uncle, though. He's taking Trulicity for his type 2 diabetes, and now he's really on his game.
Once weekly Trulicity lowers your A1C by helping your body release the insulin it's already making. Most people reached an A1C under 7%. Plus, Trulicity can lower your risk of cardiovascular events. It can also help you lose up to 10 pounds. Trulicity is for type 2 diabetes. It isn't for people with type 1 diabetes. It's not approved for use in children. Don't take Trulicity if you're allergic to it. You or your family have medullary thyroid cancer or have multiple endocrine neoplasia syndrome type 2. Stop Trulicity and call your doctor right away if you have an allergic reaction, a lump or swelling in your neck, severe stomach pain, changes in vision, or diabetic retinopathy. Serious side effects may include pancreatitis. Taking Trulicity with sulfonylurea or insulin raises low blood sugar risk. Side effects include nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea, which can lead to dehydration and may worsen kidney problems. Show your world what's truly inside. Ask your doctor about once weekly Trulicity.
My dental health was not good. I had periodontal disease, and I just didn't feel well. But then I found Clear Choice.
Replacing Marcia's teeth with dental implants at Clear Choice was going to afford her that permanent solution.
Clear Choice dental implants gave me the ability to take on the world. I feel so much better, and I think that that is the key.
Return to rugged. The all-new, ruggedly redesigned 2022 Nissan Pathfinder.
If
If Nathan Adrian hadn't forged his will in the fire of competition, he never would have had the courage to face his greatest obstacles. If he settled for winning 8 medals for his country, he never would have continued swimming despite a cancer diagnosis. And if he didn't push himself to train, even through treatment, he wouldn't be back on the world stage, fighting to win again. That's the fighting spirit. That's what makes a lion. Modelo, root for those with a fighting spirit.
So now Dish allows you to access your Google Nest Hello doorbell from your TV.
Wait, what time is it? No, he's here early. He can't see me like this. What do I do?
Always know who's at your door right from your TV. Dish, tuned in to you.
Good morning.
More treatment.
We're gonna try something different today.
Oh, he's so pretty.
Dogs bring out the good in us. Pedigree brings out the good in them.
Well, Geico's 85 years isn't just about time, you know. It means experience. I mean, put it this way. If I told you I'd been jarring raspberry preserves for 85 years, what would you think? Well, at first, you'd be like, that has got to be some scrumptious jam. And then you'd think, he looks fantastic. I must know his skincare routine.
Geico, saving people money for 85 years.
Beg your pardon.
This is J Country. Our goal is to find that $1 million boulder. I will dig till my hands bleed.
That's so sketchy, dude.
Anything can shut you down.
It's almost like we know what we're doing.
Sights and sounds there of Tropical Storm Elsa. Thanks for being with us for special coverage. I'm Mike Bettis.
And I'm Jackie Jarris. Of course, Elsa getting stronger now. Winds up to 70 miles per hour. Getting pretty close to hurricane strength already, Mike.
Yeah, it may just be a few hours from now. And truly, landfall may just be a few hours from now, expected this evening or overnight. Here's a look at what we know right now. 34 Florida counties under state of emergency. Tampa International Airport suspending commercial flights at 5 o'clock this evening. Expected to reopen in the morning, however. Classes at the University of Florida in Gainesville are canceled tomorrow as well.
Well, the outer bands of Elsa is starting to move through the west coast of Florida, and conditions going to get worse as the storm moves in a little bit closer. The Weather Channel's Justin Michaels is live in Sarasota right now. And Justin, you're this close to those steady rains moving in.
Literally this close, and I'll show you where they are in just a second, but you can see where there isn't Tropical Storm Elsa. You can see the skies are much clearer, but then as we follow around here, Ryan, behind the lens, it gets darker, and it gets darker, and it gets darker, and then there it is, folks. We are right on the doorstep of Tropical Storm Elsa. Maybe later tonight, Hurricane Elsa. Right now, Tropical Storm, and we know that really is going to cause a problem here on the west coast of Florida. We're talking about what could be sustained winds, definitely tropical storm force. We could have gusting well into the 50s, 60s, maybe 70-mile-per-hour gusts, and then when the storm moves north of us here in Sarasota, and we start getting that onshore flow. Right now, it's all blowing out into the Gulf. We start getting that onshore flow. That's when the storm surge flooding is absolutely expected to happen here. And what's very interesting, you can see, take a look, Ryan, you can see how wide this beach is. Well, what this beach is a huge project, a $13 million project that was done and basically unveiled to the public just about a month ago by the Army Corps of Engineers and the county of Sarasota to try to revitalize this beach after so much erosion from Eta and Irma and Michael, and you pick a storm, it ripped apart this section of Florida. So Dr. Knabb, they really did a lot of hard work to get this beach built back up again, adding 300 feet of sand to the water is what they have done. Let's see how it stands up to Elsa. This is the whole point of them doing it, Dr. Knabb, was to protect those buildings and homes. Let's see if it works. I hope it does. Dr. Knabb, into you.
Yeah, preparation is the key, and dealing with both wind and water at the coast and inland. And Florida, literally and figuratively is on Elsa's bad side. It is a lopsided tropical storm because of wind shear, but that is putting the worst of the wind and the water problems on the Florida Peninsula. We've got an upper level trough in here that is shearing Elsa from the south and west. And you can see how it is fighting against it, but there's still a little bit of upper level outflow there. So it doesn't have the classic look of something that's on the verge of becoming a hurricane, but wow, look at that spin. I mean, if we zoom in a little bit, you can see how the low-level center is just trying to peek out of the southwest side, but it is fighting off that shear, and the convection is really strong on the northeast side, and those low-level clouds streaming in, tremendous amount of onshore flow into southwest Florida that will be on the increase, and a large area of strong winds and bad weather that are still affecting the Florida Keys. Key West recently gusted still over 40 miles an hour. Miami gusted over 30 earlier. The southwest Florida gusts have been over 30 miles an hour. And if you go farther north, got some far-flung bands and thunderstorms that have gusted over 35 miles an hour in Tampa. But this will be on the increase. Look at the core of the reflectivities and all that lightning just to the northeast of the circulation center. When this comes on shore later this evening, and a lot of this could go right over Metro Tampa, Sarasota, that area, there could be some damaging winds, power outages, and these reports are just the beginning. They're going to be wind gusts that are stronger than the nearly 50 miles an hour that we've seen in a number of locations on the southwest Florida coast. Look at Miami Beach, though, even gusted to 42 miles per hour, a little bit elevated, but still a pretty strong gust. So this is the area of concern that could dump a lot of rain and have some damaging winds and increasingly pushing the storm surge into the coastal areas. And we already have some water problems, flood advisory in Tampa until 6:15 local time. So that is a reason, along with strong winds, that after it gets dark tonight, Mike, got to stay off the roads.
All right, Dr. Knapp, thank you for that. I want you to stick around. More live coverage from Florida's coast when we come back, breaking down the timing for dangerous effects city by city.
Join me, Peyton Manning, and my brother Cooper for our new amazing show. Colleges go head-to-head in trivia.
We got this.
They're all fighting for our top prize, life-changing scholarships.
Elton John.
Chance of Steel.
Lady Gaga.
That is correct.
Peyton, we're going to go with must-see TV.
I like it. I'm going to remember that. I'm a Tennessee alum.
Try not to be biased.
I'm a professional.
Capital One College Bowl, hosted by Peyton Manning. Check your local listings.
It's like a pancake.
Okay, don't roll it too thin. This is a perfect thickness.
Is that a tattoo?
Uh-huh. Look, isn't it cute?
Yeah. Is that real?
It is very real.
Yeah, no, it looks good.
I love it. Can I have one?
No.
Yes.
Absolutely not.
The video calling device designed to bring people closer. Share something real. Portal from Facebook.
So now Dish allows you to access your Google Nest Hello doorbell from your TV.
Wait, what time is it? No, he's here early. He can't see me like this. What do I do?
Always know who's at your door right from your TV. Dish, tuned in to you.
Age is just a number, and mine's unlisted.
Try Boost High Protein with 20 grams of protein for muscle health versus 16 grams in Ensure High Protein. Boost High Protein also has key nutrients for immune support. Boost High Protein.
Hi, folks. Joe Namath here, and if you're on Medicare, this is important. You're now entitled to eliminate copays and get dental care, dentures, eyeglasses, prescription coverage, in-home aids, unlimited transportation, and home-delivered meals, all at no additional cost. Plus, your zip code may have coverage with the Give Back benefit that adds money back to your Social Security check every month.
I called to get dental, transportation, meals, and the Give Back benefit.
With this virus situation, I called to get everything I'm entitled to. I couldn't believe I was missing out on so many benefits.
With the uncertainty of the virus, you need to get everything you're entitled to. Millions of people have trusted the Medicare Coverage Helpline. You can too. Call now. It's free.
Call 1-800-346-4800. That's 1-800-346-4800 now.
Domino's is testing driverless delivery powered by Neuro, and it's got someone back to their old habits.
Avoid the Noid when you get any 2 or more medium 2-topping Domino's pizzas delivered for just $5.99 each.
Severe storm damage can cost you thousands in repairs. Hi, Phil Swift here. This storm season, you need the entire Flex Seal family of products. Make fast, easy, on-the-spot repairs. Seal up cracks and holes to prevent wind and water from damaging your home. Push Flex Paste deep into wet surfaces to help prevent flood damage. And make quick automotive repairs. Get the Flex Seal family of products at these fine retailers.
Daryl's family uses Gain Flings now, so their laundry smells more amazing than ever.
Isn't that the dog's towel?
Hey, me towel, suit towel. More Gain scent plus Oxy Boost and Febreze in every Gain Fling.
Mother Nature gives you a warning sign. Get ready for something big.
Well, the Keys have made it through the worst of Elsa as everyone else up and down the west coast of Florida starts to focus on this storm. Welcome back in. I'm meteorologist Felicia Combs. We're going from the really rough weather that we had this morning in the lower Keys to a more calm night ahead tonight and a beautiful day tomorrow. But the remnants of what is left behind after Elsa still can be seen here. This is going to be what you're seeing around the island. Some standing water, some palm fronds down. You know, sometimes in TV you can't exactly tell the scope of how big a palm frond is. These are big and they're heavy. They're about 40 pounds, give or take, when you're talking about the bigger ones. They could even be heavier than that. And that's why we say you got to be careful even as conditions are starting to improve. So yes, conditions improving, but we're still having at least tropical storm force wind gusts. People are getting out and about now, though, now that the heavy rain has finally ended. But I'll tell you what, you can still tell that the weather is stirred up here just by looking to the south, out over the Florida Straits. Yeah, you see those white caps out there. Completely different story than it was, say, 2 days ago. And in fact, a completely different story here in general. When we were here for the night of the 4th of July, this resort was filled with people. People would be sitting out in this patio having dinner and things of that nature. Of course, things will be back to usual business by tomorrow here in the Keys. But Jackie, as we know, while it gets better here in the Keys, it's because Elsa is pulling away and the conditions are going to get worse farther north.
Yeah, definitely. And we're already seeing that across southwestern Florida. It's been a tough day for folks in Naples as well as into the Fort Myers area. And as we're continuing to watch the radar conditions, you're kind of seeing a little hint here that Elsa may be trying to form an eye. So it very well may be on its way to becoming a hurricane in short order. Max winds 70 miles per hour. You got to be 74 or greater for it to become a hurricane officially. 4 miles per hour impact's really not all that different. So either way you slice it, still looking at the big concern. So heavy rainfall continues to push into that area. You can see some of the squally conditions from time to time working its way up towards Tampa and some of those steadier rain bands hitting just north of Fort Myers. As for the wind gusts, we're still seeing gusts down in the Keys where Felicia is around 40 miles per hour or so. So that's still nothing to sneeze at and something you really need to pay attention to. Not good weather to get out and travel in, but we'll watch for those winds to start to increase now as we get a little bit closer towards the Tampa area. Now, some of these bands also could be producing some tropical tornadoes. That's common with landfalling tropical systems especially. So that's something we're going to continue to monitor for the rest of this evening into tonight. In fact, we may get another watch replaced later on after this one expires after 11 o'clock. So that's along the I-4 corridor from Tampa and then stretching over towards Fort Pierce and everywhere south of there. They tend to be brief. They tend to be wrapped in rain, but they can cause damage. So if you get a warning, take it really seriously here tonight, folks. Hurricane warnings remain in effect now around the Tampa Bay area, all the way northward along the Nature Coast towards the Big Bend area. So that was a change with the last advisory compared to what we were experiencing earlier today. And that's because it now is officially expected to become a hurricane. Notice the watches have been extended too for tropical storm conditions up the coast here, even past Charleston. So the Carolinas and even into parts of the mid-Atlantic are going to be impacted with this storm down the line. It will advance in forward speed. So that's a little bit of good news. Hopefully we can skirt it through there very quickly, but still some big impacts ahead for more than just Florida, Mike.
So let's talk about beyond Florida here with our hurricane expert, Dr. Rick Knabb. All right, Dr. Knabb, take us through time here. Let's go to the southeast and through the mid-Atlantic and northeast. What do you think here?
Well, Mike, this time tomorrow will be crossing into Georgia, but then the Carolinas will be experiencing this on Thursday primarily, and then farther up the coast, mid-Atlantic and northeast on Friday with wind and water problems. So we can't think that once this leaves Florida, this is not a big problem. So you can see the Thursday, 2 a.m., if this is exactly right, is when it crosses into South Carolina. And it's not until this time Friday when it is departing the Nantucket-Boston area. And the reason it'll be hanging a right and quickly moving up the East Coast is because this big trough up in Canada, it's going to accelerate northeastward. Now, it might not be fully tropical along the way. That doesn't matter in terms of the conditions. You could still get tropical storm conditions and tropical storm warnings, even if it loses the tropical storm designation. Let's go through Wednesday when things will be going downhill in South Carolina, and by early Thursday could have some pretty strong gusts in place like Charleston. And then watch how things get pretty gusty for Cape Hatteras. Seems like North Carolina can never miss a system, no matter what direction it's coming from. Could be gusting well over tropical storm force there. Sustained winds of tropical storm force, not real high chances up in North Carolina northward, but those chances could go up depending on the exact track. And the timing is that the winds of tropical storm force could start arriving like Wednesday night in South Carolina, Thursday morning in North Carolina, Thursday evening in the Hampton Roads area. So we've got a little bit of time to get ready, but tomorrow's going to be the big prep day. And then we're going to have problems with water. Flash flooding possible in the Savannah area, up into Charleston, into Thursday morning, Thursday night, Friday morning for North Carolina, getting up into the very flood vulnerable Norfolk area. Look at the rainfall totals, not just near the coast, but inland a fair distance, 3, 4, 5 inches locally in a number of places. And also, Mike, there could be, Jackie, some storm surge flooding coming from the Sound side in North Carolina at high tide at the 7s in Charleston.
All right, Dr. Knabb, still to come, more live coverage as we track Elsa closing in on a Florida landfall likely in the morning.
No matter where we live, we all have our local spot with our favorite table. Go back to your local restaurant and Stella Artois will help cover your first chalice. Visit StellaArtois.com/first chalice back to learn more.
New projects means new project managers. You need to hire.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job, you immediately get your short list of quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job criteria. Visit Indeed.com/hire and get started today.
Smile.
Honey latte.
What's the Wi-Fi password?
Oh, it's Hack Me.
It's easy to be unsafe.
Mom, what's your 401k number?
Now it's easy to help protect yourself. Opt in to cyber safety at Norton.com.
When you find your style at your price, there's no such thing as another day at the office. Explore the showrooms of style at Lowe's. Home to any budget, home to any possibility.
DiGiorno has 7 delicious crusts, and your family food critics will rave. Croissant crust is flaky layers of buttery bliss. Rising crust is fresh baked deliciousness. There's a 5-star pizza for everyone in your family to love. It's not delivery, it's DiGiorno.
Oh no. I think they look good, man.
Smooth. They are a little tight.
Like, too tight? Might just need to break them in a little bit because you don't want them too loose.
For those who were born to ride, there's Progressive.
True.
With 24/7 roadside assistance.
Okay. Think I'm gonna wear these home.
Excellent choice.
When it comes to laundry, everyone thinks their way is the right way.
I wash on delicate.
I just stuff everything in.
You have to wash on cold because it saves energy.
Secret is, Tide Pods work no matter how you wash, so everyone is right. It's got to be Tide.
Real people are finding real savings with Spectrum Mobile.
I switched because we wanted great service for less money.
With Spectrum Mobile, I'm saving over $650 a year.
We've actually saved $612 in half a year.
Use the Spectrum Mobile Savings Calculator to find out how much you could save. Then get our unlimited data plan for $45 a line or our By the Gig plan for $14 a gig. Call 844-230-8821.
Well, the idea that we can mix and match plans is great. This way we can adjust the plan to what our needs are at the moment.
These guys are unlimited, I'm by the gig, and I've got more money in my wallet.
Get the flexibility you want with the savings you need, all with free nationwide talk and text and no contracts. Call 844-230-8821.
We're paying a lot less and getting a whole lot more.
I'm wondering why I didn't switch to Spectrum Mobile a lot sooner than what I actually did.
Get Spectrum Mobile with our unlimited data plan for $45 a line or our By the Gig plan for $14 a gig. Visit a Spectrum store, go to spectrummobile.com, or call 844-230-8821.
Oh my God! Evacuate immediately!
A severe thunderstorm watch is in effect. Currently in our area, 94 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Tonight, thunderstorms early. A few storms may be severe early. Low 75. Wednesday, sunshine and some clouds. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. High 94. Here's our 7-day outlook.
All right, we're continuing to track Tropical Storm Elsa, but there's also severe weather tonight across parts of the Northeast, and we are tracking severe storms working their way through the megalopolis with warnings for 2 major metro areas, including you in Boston and Philadelphia right now. There you can see that squall line that's pushing through from northwest down towards the south and east, and all within that line, we could see some damaging winds of 60 to 70 miles per hour and also some hail to go along with this as well. So we'll take you in towards Boston, where a severe thunderstorm warning is in effect for Essex, Middlesex, and Suffolk counties until 6:15. That storm just on your doorstep here, Boston, working its way in on the west side of town right now. And then we'll take you farther to the south into Providence, Windham, and Worcester counties. You're under severe thunderstorm warning until 6:15 here. Same hazards, penny-sized hail and damaging winds. Real concerned about that squall line moving through the Hartford area, but also some really intense winds. We're getting a few reports of some spotty damage here to the north and west of the Philadelphia metro area and also outside of New York City. So this is Morris, Sussex, and Warren until 6:45. So New York, you're not under a warning yet, but those storms expected to hold together and head your way maybe another 30 to 60 minutes before it moves into your backyard. So just a heads up, this is not a good night to head on out. So timing that out, there you go, 6:30. We think it would be arriving in New York City, and then 6:23 for you into Newark, New Jersey. And then we'll take you down towards Philly, a severe thunderstorm warning here. It's actually 2 different cells. You've got one up towards your north that's going to be hitting north side as well as into the downtown area. So stay indoors, a good night to stay in. And of course, a severe thunderstorm watch in effect for that whole area until 10 o'clock tonight. Let's go back to the lab with our hurricane expert, Dr. Rick Knabb, continue to track Elsa. What's the latest, Dr. Knabb?
Well, Jackie, it's moving northward, and the really bad weather on its northeast side is getting closer and closer to the Gulf Coast of southwestern Florida. Max winds at 70 miles an hour because of the data we got from the earlier Hurricane Hunter flight, and we're going to have another plane in there in a little while. It's really going to be important to keep track of the intensity because it doesn't look like a hurricane on satellite because it's sheared, but it is forecast to strengthen to one, and it'll be going very close and parallel to the west coast of central Florida, and that means the Florida Peninsula is on the bad side of this storm in terms of both wind and water. Here's the earlier mission that found the max winds at 70 miles an hour. Now we've got another plane that'll be taking off here within the next few minutes. Hopefully they aren't delayed like the morning flight was, because there was lightning in Biloxi, Mississippi, and you can't go out on the tarmac and board a plane when there's lightning, but you can fly into it in one of these planes, and they'll be doing that again as night falls, and they will find a storm that looks to be trying to gain even a little bit more organization, because that low-level spin not as well, found on the visible imagery. It was peeking out of the southwest side, but it's starting to tuck in underneath there. The thunderstorms in the low-level center, they get more and more aligned, then that could portend some more strengthening. And we've got plenty of gusty winds. It has recently gusted over 40 miles an hour at Naples. Even on the east coast of Florida, it's been gusting over 30. And then farther north, we've had some outer bands that have caused some gusts over 30 miles an hour at Tampa. Right now, gusting 25 at Sarasota. But this is the business end of the storm right here. That's not that far offshore. Look at all that lightning. Tropical storms often produce even more lightning in their inner core than do hurricanes. And these are the tropical storm conditions that are just offshore. These are earlier reports where we gusted near 50 miles an hour in a lot of places. It'll be gusting stronger than that later tonight. And we've also got water problems. Still have the flood advisory here down in Naples, Florida. So, Mike, these are the two main reasons to be staying off the roads. The flooding and tropical storm conditions at night. Bad combination. Stay off the roads.
100%. Could not agree with you more there, Dr. Knapp. Scary stuff at night for sure. All right, so there's a lot of wind, a lot of rain coming for us here. We'll time this out for you. Also show you the severe weather risk here, including a torque count of 3 across a good chunk of the peninsula here. So that will include Naples, Sarasota, Port Charlotte, Tampa, up through Orlando, even up around Gainesville, torque count of 3. Not exceptionally high number, but nonetheless, it's not 0 either. There's the big spin, and a lot of the east-sided convection is going to nail us here along I-75 here, Fort Myers and Sarasota up toward Tampa, then riding up toward, say, Gainesville. But I-4 won't be a picnic either. Here we are, early tomorrow morning, tons of showers for us here. Heavy rainfall rates could exceed an inch an hour, then rolling up I-75 again, getting to I-10 again. Lakeville to Gainesville over toward Lakeland, Gainesville over toward Jacksonville, all locations we'd be worried about. There's a look at the threat tomorrow for severe weather. Could include I-95, then going through Georgia and the Carolinas as well. How much rain to come? A lot, unfortunately. There's that heavy pocket of rain that'll nail us here. Tampa down toward Fort Myers and inland as well. 3 to 5 inches of rain in our forecast. Initially dealing with an offshore wind, then eventually an onshore wind. But look here, most of you experiencing gusts in excess of 50 miles an hour tonight.
DiGiorno has 7 delicious crusts, and your family food critics will rave. Croissant crust is flaky layers of buttery bliss. Rising crust is fresh baked deliciousness.
A severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for our area.
It's DiGiorno.
Sweaty in bed for all the wrong reasons? Chic's Performance Sheets keep you cool, even on the hottest summer nights. Chic's are the world's most breathable, moisture-wicking, ridiculously soft sheets with superior stretch.
Go to TrySheets.com to save over $100 today.
Stand up if you are a first-generation college student.
A severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for our area.
Actively deployed, a veteran, or you're in a military family, please stand. The world in which we live equally distributes talent, but it doesn't equally distribute opportunity, and paths are not always the same.
I'm so proud of you, Dad.
I will tell you this, Southern New Hampshire University can change the whole trajectory of your life.
If you have a typical airline credit card, you're not getting double miles on every purchase.
You're right. I only get extra miles on some types of purchases.
May I?
Please.
With the Capital One Venture Card, you earn unlimited double miles everywhere. Yes.
Everywhere is great, but where can we use them?
You can use them on any travel purchase, not just some travel purchases.
The Venture gets a gold star.
What's in your wallet?
This is what 30 minutes of boot camp tastes like. Come on, Peloton. Let it flow. Reach all the way up.
Check your vibe. It's time to grind, Peloton. Let's turn it up. Come on.
What's up, hustlers? Welcome to Peloton Outdoor. Let's get jogging.
Find your rhythm, baby. 1, 2, 1, 2. So many Peloton newbies on the leaderboard today. Welcome to the family.
The Peloton bike starting at $49 a month. All access membership separate.
Not everybody wants the same thing. That's why I go with Liberty Mutual. They customize my car insurance so I only pay for what I need. Because I do things a bit differently. What, teddy bears? What, teddy bears, Hick?
Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Start your day with Crest 3D White. And from mochachinos to Merlot, your smile will always be brilliant. Crest 3D White Brilliance. 100% stain removal, 24-hour stain resistance to lock in your whitest smile. Crest, the #1 toothpaste brand in America.
Hi, Phil Swift here. When you need maximum coverage and sealing power, take it to the max with FlexMax. Your favorite Flex Seal products are now giant sized. For maximum coverage and sealing power, take it to the max with FlexMax.
Attention, a common herbicide, paraquat, has been linked to Parkinson's disease.
If you suffer from Parkinson's and think you may have been exposed to an herbicide containing paraquat, call the Goldwater Law Firm.
Call us right now. You may be entitled to substantial compensation.
Call now, and in less than 2 minutes you can find out if you may qualify.
Your Parkinson's may have been caused by the herbicide paraquat. Call 1-800-621-6565. That's 1-800-621-6565.
Right now on Weather Underground, hurricane warnings now up for portions of the west coast.
A severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for our area.
Nab goes in depth on everything you need to know, plus live team coverage as Elsa continues to batter the Sunshine State with strong winds and heavy rain.
The impacts from the storm to spread well beyond landfall in Florida and well beyond the cone. We're going to show you where conditions are deteriorating from Georgia into the mid-Atlantic. That's next on Weather Underground.
Glad you could be with us for our special live coverage of Tropical Storm Elsa. I'm Mike Bettis.
And I'm Jackie Jarris. Of course, our hurricane expert, Dr. Rick Knabb, with us here tonight as well. And we've had some changes with conditions and the forecast, too.
Yeah, we certainly have. It looks like we're going to have a hurricane potentially on our hands here later this evening or overnight tonight, anticipating more strengthening, so we could go back to hurricane status here. Here's a look at the latest advisory as of the last hour. 70-mile-per-hour, a tropical storm. Again, 74 is what you need for a hurricane, so we're very, very close to that. North movement at 10 miles per hour, and you can see that puts the west coast of Florida right in the east side of the entire system, and that's where all the heavy storms are right now. That's where generally all the effects will be felt, is along the west coast of Florida and the east side of the storm. Hurricane warnings are in effect. That does include the Tampa Bay area, does include St. Pete and Clearwater up around Cedar Key here, and then numerous tropical storm warnings and tropical storm watches in effect here that extend up towards, say, Valdosta, Brunswick, Georgia, and then tropical storm watches all the way up into Charleston, South Carolina, as we're anticipating that turn to happen. So meandering northbound here, a gradual northeast turn, and then east turn here. And again, tomorrow morning, you may go to bed tonight. We still may be looking at a tropical storm tomorrow morning. You wake up, we've got a hurricane. Don't think there's going to be a whole lot of difference between a 70-mile-per-hour tropical storm and a 75-mile-per-hour hurricane. It's just we cross the threshold, right? Then you take a look at the storm as it moves off into inland areas of Georgia, into the Carolinas. Could still be a tropical storm for us as we go into Thursday. Then accelerating, moving across the northeast here, may even clip places like the Jersey Shore out here on Nantucket and Martha's Vineyard here, then heading its way up towards, say, Halifax and the Canadian Maritimes. As you look at how much water rise we're anticipating, especially in the yellow areas here, anywhere between 2 and 5 feet of water rise. Well, 34 counties in Florida under a state of emergency as Elsa will continue to strengthen off the west coast. And Florida Governor Ron DeSantis joined us earlier on Weather Underground. We asked him what message he has for the people in the path of this storm.
Well, the message is listen to your local emergency managers. That's going to be done on a local basis. As of now, we don't anticipate any widespread evacuations. I think what we've seen is people who are special needs or energy dependent who may not be able to withstand a lengthy power outage. And then there may be some low-lying areas where one of the county officials may say to evacuate.
A severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for our area.
listen to your local folks. If they do issue one of those orders, we think it'll be very narrow. But if you are in one of those areas, they're doing that because of the potential impacts of things like the storm surge.
So important to do whatever local officials tell you to do. And in any case, really important to stay off the roads tonight because tropical storm conditions, especially a strong tropical storm on the verge of becoming a hurricane, be very dangerous to be out on the roads, the slick roads, the strong winds, the blinding rain, darkness. It's just a bad combination. We could have some flooding, not just from fresh water, but from salt water as well. The low-level center that had been exposed earlier, less and less so. So when the next aircraft gets out there in a couple hours, it could be stronger. And also,
a severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for our area.
Get a good look at those low clouds streaming toward the southwest coast of Florida, not only producing the wind gusts that we're seeing here, gusts at over 30, near 40 miles an hour in the Naples, Marco Island area, but that is also going to be pushing the salt water toward the coastline. Looking farther north, haven't had really strong gusts on land up in Sarasota and Tampa Bay yet, mostly because of outer band kind of thunderstorms. But when this part of the storm comes on shore, it is really going to blow hard. This is really the business end of the storm. The sustained winds of tropical storm force are not far offshore. That heavy rainfall, that lightning, that's all an indication of that's where the heaviest rains and the flooding rains are going to be, where the strongest winds are going to be. Sustained tropical storm force, gusts 50, 60, 70 or stronger. Look at the future radar on here. You can see when we get to late tonight, a lot of you from Naples up to Tampa are going to be rocking and rolling, unfortunately, with tropical storm conditions and a lot of training rainfall here. So the flooding from freshwater will be on the increase. And then as the center does this kind of path, you're going to have onshore flow into places like Tampa Bay, where it's going to be high tide around 3 in the morning. So like we saw in Ada last year, we could have a combination of saltwater flooding and freshwater flooding. Jackie, it's about to get real on the Gulf Coast of the Florida Peninsula.
Oh, yeah, and conditions are going downhill as we speak in some of these areas, and Elsa may get a little bit stronger before making that landfall sometime likely early tomorrow, perhaps even tonight. We'll see. The Weather Channel's Justin Michaels is live in Sarasota, Florida right now, and Justin, just like that, all of a sudden you're getting 30-mile-per-hour gusts plus.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, we are just south of being in that hurricane warning area, but that shouldn't give people here in Sarasota some false sense of security that, oh, it's just going to be a tropical storm. Hey, what if we're getting 70-mile-per-hour gusts here? All right, what is the difference between 70 and 75? Not too much, and you're not going to know the difference, and it certainly can cause just as much trouble and can cause just as much harm to you. So this is not a storm to take without every amount of seriousness that you can, because as it continues to push closer to us here in Sarasota, the skies are getting darker, the winds are picking up, the rain is continuing to very much trickle in, but it's going to be coming, and we know that once that starts, it's going to be pretty bad here for hour after hour after hour, long after you go to bed, early into tomorrow morning, and we're going to be experiencing those 50, 60, 70-mile-per-hour gusts here in Sarasota. You can see Elsa is right there. And I mean, I don't know if the radar is up on the screen right now or not, I can't see, but when I tell you that the storm is literally right at our doorstep here in Sarasota, it is right out there in the Gulf. And it's just a matter of a few more minutes that it's going to be moving right over us here, and we're going to be in it for several more hours. So turn around, don't drown. That's the number one thing you can do. Remember, more people die in flooding and in water than they do in wind.
A severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for our area.
Talking about the potential for especially when that storm surge comes in. Could we have a storm surge flooding here in Sarasota? It's absolutely possible. In fact, it's probably probable when it comes to now tropical storm Elsa possibly making its way to Hurricane Elsa again. So use extreme caution. By tomorrow morning, it's going to be a different story here in Sarasota. But overnight, and as you go through this night, Jackie, this is the kind of night, whether you're on your beach vacation or you actually live here, stay indoors, watch the Weather Channel, get a good night's nap, and tomorrow it's going to be a better day. Jackie and
Going to be a tough night to sleep, though, I think that's for sure. Thanks, Justin. Well, we want to take you live to New York City right now, where a severe thunderstorm warning has just been issued. I know it seems quiet and calm right now.
A severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for our area.
From the west, and these are dangerous storms that could be producing some winds in excess of 70 miles per hour. So heads up, New York City. Don't head out now. You also need to be sheltering in place inside of a sturdy building and waiting until these storms pass. Look at this line. This is really impressive. I can't remember ever seeing this before, where we have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for pretty much every single big city in the megalopolis. So Boston, Providence, New York City, even Philadelphia under a warning right now. So we've got kind of a broken line, but look at all the lightning and wind damage is going to be the primary concern. Now, we can't rule out some hail, maybe penny-sized hail, marginally severe, but still, that's a threat. If you got the car in the garage, you're going to be in better shape because of that. So we'll start out here. There you can see the severe thunderstorm warning in effect off towards your west. That includes you in Jersey City, New York, as well as Newark. That's until 6:30 for tonight. We want to put a timer on this one for you because it's really this leading edge that's just moving in along 287 right now, where we think the strongest of the winds will be. 7:09 in New York, Woodbridge at 7:10, and then working its way towards Hempstead at 7:51. So you need to get indoors right now. If you have somebody trying to come home from work at this time and they're on the roads, make sure they're alerted that this is what's headed your way. We'll take you down towards Philadelphia, Chester, Delaware, Montgomery until 6:15. This is just about on top of you right now, Philly, so stay put and be aware for those gusty winds. And Mike, of course, you know, a lot going on in the Northeast with a severe, and we've got that trough that's coming down. Some of that helping to steer Elsa eventually.
And the turn anticipated, you know, as it pushes it up the East Coast. So interesting to watch how it all plays together, right? Everything is fluid, right? But we certainly want to take you back to what our top story is, and that is Tropical Storm Elsa. What it may do now is heads farther through north into Florida and then eventually into the southeast. So I want to take you to Cedar Key, Lake City, Jacksonville, Gainesville. These are all places where we're anticipating breezy conditions for you this evening. Then the winds really start to intensify as the center of circulation gets a lot closer to you. So overnight tonight, you'll feel those winds pick up here. And in the morning, Gainesville, we could have winds gusting 25 to 30, 35 to 40 in a Cedar Key. And if you're driving the big rig here along I-10 or I-75, you know, maybe just give it like a 12-hour pause if you can. If not, boy, hold on to the steering wheel tightly. You've got some serious winds here. Lake City there at I-10 and I-75, gusts could be 50 miles an hour. Now, tomorrow evening, winds start to back off, turn out of the south now. So you're going to see those winds cut in half from the midday time high peaks of gusts. But notice here, I-10 in and out of a few stormy squalls for you tonight. Tomorrow morning, you'll have more intensity with the rain, more coverage. We could be looking at a center of circulation somewhere about right here, right near Cedar Key, but really heavy rain along I-75 mid-morning for you tomorrow. And then probably by around dinner time or so, the really heavy rain shield is going to shift north of you. And then overnight, the rain starts to back off pretty significantly as it now exits into Georgia and then the Carolinas. I want to take you along I-95 here, say Daytona down toward
A severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for our area.
Here, winds really start to pick up as we go through the night, especially, I'd say, along I-4, Daytona down toward Orlando, Kissimmee, and Winter Haven here. I think for a place like Titusville or Melbourne, yes, it gets windy, but not extreme, okay? I think 25-mile-per-hour gusts you could handle, but around the Villages, over toward Daytona, Orlando, we could be looking at winds gusts here around that 35-mile-per-hour number or so. Then you look at the storms that come through. With any of those individual storms, you could get gusts higher than that just because of the convective nature of the storms themselves. But look at that really heavy rain that's hitting us mid-morning tomorrow. Villages, Kissimmee, Orlando, then along Highway 192 here. More storms for you through the evening drive, so real tough go for you here. Winter Haven or over toward Daytona Beach. Hopefully tomorrow could be a work-from-home kind of day for you. You don't have to get on the roads and commute if you have a job that allows you to do that. Then as we go into Thursday, truly the tail end of all of it, the extreme southern edges.
A severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for our area.
A lot more sunshine in your forecast, than rain. And then look at the winds here, mostly out of the southeast along the Georgia and South Carolina coast, going through Wednesday night and Thursday morning. Again, getting very windy for us here at Hilton Head, back towards Savannah and then Charleston. So just heads up on these storms coming through. And the same thing, waves of storms that come through here, Dr. Nab. So it just doesn't stop there at Florida. It goes all the way up through the southeast, then eventually we think even maybe the northeast.
Yeah, Mike, it doesn't seem that North Carolina can ever miss a tropical system coming from all different directions, and they're going to be dealing with Elsa on some level. that trough that Jackie was talking about, bringing the weather to the northeast, that is going to help turn and accelerate Elsa up the entire East Coast. Maybe it doesn't say a tropical storm the whole time, but it could still pack a punch in terms of both wind and water, and it won't just be at the coast. We'll have some strong winds and heavy rains inland all the way through this time on Friday before it starts to depart the northeast. Now, at any one point on the map, there's not a really high chance yet of sustained winds of tropical storm force, but that could go up as the risk has been going up for Georgia over the last couple of days, especially near places like Savannah and Hilton Head. And the timing for South Carolina could be, if you do get tropical storm conditions arriving on the coast there, could be as soon as Wednesday evening. For North Carolina, starting on Thursday morning, then Norfolk and Mid-Atlantic on Thursday evening. So tomorrow is going to be the big day of preparation. All that weather Mike was showing you, the possibility of flash flooding in Georgia getting up into Charleston into Thursday morning, and then Thursday night into Friday morning, a lot of North Carolina and that very flood-prone area of Hampton Roads. Let's look at the winds for South Carolina and North Carolina. Be going downhill on Wednesday, and even if you don't get tropical storm conditions by Thursday morning, could be a strong gusty onshore flow into Charleston. Look at all those winds coming into North Carolina. Hatteras could gust as high as 50 miles an hour on Thursday night. And then when you look at the water problems, we're going to have some heavy rain associated with this system. And also, look at Charleston. Like Thursday morning, it could be raining pretty hard and have an onshore flow at the same time. And that is not good news relative to high tide because, you could have the onshore flow kind of commensurate with the time of high tides at the 7s. So like on Thursday morning, high tide, onshore flow could have some storm surge flooding along with freshwater flooding. And then watch what happens in the sounds of North Carolina. Starting Thursday night into Friday morning, we could have a flow that's from west to east that could cause sound side flooding on the Outer Banks. So don't think you can't have a storm surge problem there. And then look at all this wind and onshore flow and rain for the big cities of the Northeast this time on Friday. And then finally, by Saturday, it's all out of here. So this is the time frame that I'm concerned about in here for North Carolina.
A severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for our area.
It's not necessarily fully tropical and not a hurricane can bring.
Yeah, and Dr. Knapp, I don't know if you can see that the live picture there in New Jersey there in the bottom of the screen. It's going to look a lot different later in the week, that is for sure. Dr. Knapp, thank you still to come. We got a lot more. There it is, by the way. It's a beautiful evening, right? Won't be that way as we head closer and closer to the weekend. All right, folks, we want you to stick around. We've got a lot more to come here as we continue to track Elsa and its imminent landfall for us in Florida tonight. We've got more live coverage of the 70-mile-per-hour tropical storm on the precipice of becoming a hurricane once again. Stick with us for the latest coverage right here on the Weather Channel.
Hi, Verizon launched the first 5G network, and now we want to be the first to give everyone the joy of 5G by giving every customer a new 5G phone on us. Old customers, new customers, families, businesses, in-laws, law firms. Every customer, new 5G phones when you trade in your old ones. And if you're not a customer, we'll help cover the cost to switch. Just ask Wanda. She's been with us since now. Upgrade your phone, upgrade your network.
Honey latte.
What's the Wi-Fi password?
Oh, it's Hack Me.
Are you serious?
So I gave your birth date for free parking.
That's how I got this robe.
No one really tries to be unsafe.
Mom, what's your 401k number?
But every time you give up info and privacy, you give up a little safety too.
Is it normal to ask for your social when you buy socks?
Norton 360 with LifeLock helps protect your devices, online privacy, and identity all in one. Opt into cyber safety at norton.com.
My teeth were a mess. I had a lot of pain as far as my physical health. My body was telling me, you got to do something. And so I came to Clear Choice.
Your mouth is the gateway to your body. Joe's treatment plan was replacing the teeth with dental implants from Clear Choice.
Clear Choice has changed my life for the better. It's given me my health back. There's an amazing life out there if you do something for your health now.
Ladies, check it out. So strong, so not ripped.
What are we talking about?
That's the Hefty Ultra Strong bag.
Hefty, hefty, hefty.
Give me the bag.
Get Hefty Ultra Strong at a low price.
I've been on Noom for 4 months, and I've lost 19 pounds.
Noom made me realize that I never really learned how to eat right.
This doesn't feel restrictive. It feels like a true lifestyle change.
Visit Noom.com and lose the weight for good.
When you order carry-out, choose Domino's Carside Delivery. Check in when you arrive, and we guarantee we'll be headed out the door less than 2 minutes after your order is ready. If anything slows us down, your next pizza is free. Put Domino's new 2-minute guarantee to the test.
When our daughter and her kids moved in with us, our bargain detergent couldn't keep up.
Turns out it's mostly water.
So we switched back to Tide.
A severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for our area.
Don't pay for water. Pay for clean. It's gotta be Tide.
It's the lowest prices of the season on the Sleep Number 360 smart bed. It's the most comfortable, dually adjustable, foot warming, temperature balancing, proven quality night's sleep we've ever made. And now the new Queen Sleep Number 360 C2 smart bed is only $8.99. Only for a limited time.
Looked bigger online. Someday, we'll find the right trip.
Seize your someday today with Travelocity.
Get the right information so you can book confidently.
Travelocity. Seize your someday.
Jade makes people do crazy things.
A severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for our area.
Introducing Blueland, a revolutionary way to clean that saves you money. Our tablets combine with water to make a superior cleaning solution. Blueland cuts grease and grime without harmful ingredients and is proven to be effective. With refills that cost only $2, save money and space without the plastic waste. Shop now at blueland.com and get your kit today.
Looking for superior protection against UV damage and early skin aging? Try Neutrogena Ultra Sheer. It provides exceptional cellular protection from burning UVB rays and aging UVA rays. Save 25% at Neutrogena.com.
Are your sneezes putting your friends in awkward positions? Stick with Zyrtec. Zyrtec starts working hard at hour 1 and works twice as hard when you take it again the next day. Zyrtec, muddle no more.
A severe thunderstorm watch is in effect. Currently in our area, 93 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Tonight, thunderstorms early. A few storms may be severe early, low 74. Wednesday, thunderstorms developing in the afternoon, high 94. Chance of rain 40%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Evacuate immediately.
Thank you for staying with us live here on the Weather Channel. I'm Justin Michaels in Sarasota, Florida, where we finally have Tropical Storm Elsa has come to town, and we expect to be like this for the next several hours at least, probably into the early morning hours tomorrow. Now, I'm going to tell you something. I believe the official numbers coming from the airport. What I don't believe is that those official numbers have anything to do with what we're dealing with right here.
A severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for our area.
Per hour gust that came through the airport not all that long ago. It is a lot windier than that right here on the coast. In fact, the Gulf of Mexico is right there, and you can see it's pretty churned up right along the shore. We know as this storm continues to move north, the expectation is it's going to be turning itself into a hurricane with those wind speeds as the hurricane hunters get out there and identify the actual wind speeds in the storm. At present, we are not in a hurricane warning here in Sarasota. we're in a tropical storm warning. But we're only talking about a few miles per hour difference between the winds in these two different classifications, and that's probably what we're going to be dealing with here. Whether or not we ever get into a hurricane warning situation here in Sarasota does not lessen the impacts and does not lessen the danger with this storm. Could we see 50, 60, 70 mile per hour wind gusts here in Sarasota over the next several hours, Mike? It certainly is possible, and that's why the best thing you can do tonight here in Sarasota.
A severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for our area.
Let this storm pass and look forward to a better end of this week for sure.
Absolutely. You know, the next 24 hours are going to be pretty rough there, but things will get better. We can assure you of that. They always do, and they will. Excuse me. In this instance, always happens sometimes that right at the moment you want to talk, there's something stuck in there. 70 mile per hour winds with Tropical Storm Elsa right now. The movement is north at about 10 miles per hour. One thing that Dr. Knapp had mentioned is it looks like the low-level circulation and the convection are getting a little bit maybe more aligned vertically, which would, again, in some instances indicate maybe some strengthening here as it's kind of been tilted a little bit where the convection has been off to the east side, the low-level spin has been to the west or southwest side. So maybe there is some organization going on right now, and why the Hurricane Center is now forecasting a hurricane out of this, low-end hurricane. But again, we're going to cross over the threshold to a hurricane once we get to that 75 mile per hour number. Tornado watch in effect for us, South Florida, right on into, say, the Tampa area. That does include, excuse me, Alligator Alley, so Naples over toward Fort Lauderdale here. There have been a few storms out there that have produced some really squally weather. And you can see where the real rain shield is for us right here. We're going to have some bands that come off of that. We're going to watch for the possibility of some spin-ups within that. So just something to keep an eye on. And even extending southbound, too. Couldn't rule out the Keys as well. Keys now at Key West gusting to about 36 miles an hour. And these winds all pick up as we go through the night. Apologize for the cough this evening. I'll get some water in there. Dr. Knapp, the west coast of Florida, though, surge prone, especially in that Tampa Bay area. How much water rise you anticipate?
Yeah, talk about getting water in there. We're going to talk about 3, 4, 5 feet of storm surge flooding above normally dry ground in that storm surge warning area. And this is a track that's not good for storm surge on the Gulf Coast of Florida. It's not good for the entire peninsula because they're on the stronger, rainier side of this mostly lopsided system. So this is fully capable, whether it's become a hurricane or not, of producing life-threatening storm surge. That's what the storm surge warning means. Maybe not mass evacuations, but there could be places inundated, at least with roads, if not some structure. So whatever your local officials are telling you to do, you got to do it. And when you see these low clouds streaming in on the southeastern side, there's no doubt about it that the Gulf of Mexico is going to be pushed toward the coastline, not just the beaches, but up the rivers and into the bays. And we haven't yet seen storm surge flooding measured above normally dry ground by any of the gauges, but the reason for that is we're headed toward low tide. But after midnight on the Gulf Coast of Florida, we're headed toward high tide. And this forecast from the Hurricane Center is a combination of the storm surge, the push from the storm, and tide. And when those are aligned, as they probably will be later tonight and into early tomorrow morning, that's when we could maximize the flooding and get those values.
A severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for our area.
Going into low tide in a little bit, but high tide is, say, 3:30 in the morning. Watch the timing of where Elsa will be relative to the high tide in Tampa. We could have a push toward the north end of the bays around high tide, and not long after that, the opening to the bay will be exposed to the onshore push. So this could be a little bit of a repeat of what we saw with Ada, with a combination of not just storm surge flooding Tampa northward into places like Cedar Key, but also the heavy rainfall could produce freshwater flooding. And Mike and Jackie, we could see a combination of saltwater and freshwater flooding like we saw in Ada in November.
All right, Dr. Nabel, still to come. Much more on Elsa as it continues to batter Florida.
A severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for our area.
Coming from the coast. That's when we come back. Don't go away.
When our daughter and her kids moved in with us, our bargain detergent couldn't keep up.
Turns out it's mostly water.
So we switched back to Tide. One wash, stains are gone.
Don't pay for water. Pay for clean. It's gotta be Tide.
I'm not ready to lose my hair. Not now. But I never thought there was a real solution. Now I use Keeps, the easiest way to keep my hair. And I can get my treatment without leaving the couch. Go to keeps.com to learn more.
Shark Week is back.
You guys see that?
She did.
Boom.
Did you bring your chainsaw?
What? This has never been done in shark science.
Get ready.
Crikey! Oh my God!
For the most epic Shark Week of all time. Shark Week, the real summer blockbuster. Stream Shark Week anytime on Discovery Plus.
Return to rugged. The all-new, ruggedly redesigned 2022 Nissan Pathfinder.
I was born 4th of July. Grew some wings and learned to fly. Got a wind on my back just like I like. I said simplify, simplify. Don't know where to go.
Ready to simplify life with diabetes? Get started today with a free 30-day Omnipod Dash trial. Go to omnipod.com/free for risk information, instructions for use, and free trial terms and conditions. Consult your healthcare provider before starting on Omnipod. Simplify diabetes. Simplify life. Omnipod.
I didn't order a pizza.
I know. But that Parker promo saved me so much on my insurance. I brought you a little something special.
Parker, State Farm offers everyone surprisingly great rates.
You're the man.
And you want the real deal? Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
It's my 552 woke up like this migraine medicine. It's Ubrelvy for any time, anywhere migraine strikes without worrying if it's too late or where I am. One dose can quickly stop my migraine in its tracks within 2 hours.
Unlike older medicines, Ubrelvy is a pill that directly blocks CGRP protein, believed to be a cause of migraine. Do not take with strong CYP3A4 inhibitors. Most common side effects were nausea and tiredness.
Ask about Ubrelvy, the anytime, anywhere migraine medicine.
At Southern New Hampshire University, we're committed to making college more accessible by making it more affordable. That's why we're keeping our tuition the same through the year 2021.
A severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for our area.
How affordable it was. I ran to my husband with my computer and I said, look, we can do this.
Take advantage of some of the lowest online tuition rates in the nation. Find your degree at snhu.edu.
Come on, flowers. Hello, idea.
When you taste
A severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for our area.
flowing with joy. Cadbury Caramello.
It seemed like a normal day.
I got an alert on my phone, and then all hell broke loose.
It was complete chaos.
Go!
Mother Nature gives you a warning sign. Get ready for something big.
You just hang on for dear life and hope for the best.
And thank you for staying with us for our special coverage of Tropical Storm Elsa. I'm Mike Bettis.
And I'm Jackie Jarris. Hurricane Hunter is getting ready to take off and head back into Elsa right now, Mike. So we'll see. This is getting close to being a hurricane.
Yeah, short trip from Biloxi into the storm there. So hopefully we can get a lot of great data here before landfall, get a really good take on the wind speed and the location. So there's a look, by the way, of what we know right now. 34 Florida counties are under a state of emergency. Tampa International Airport has suspended commercial flights.
A severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for our area.
To reopen tomorrow morning. Classes at the University of Florida in Gainesville are canceled tomorrow.
Some of the outer bands of Elsa have been moving through the west coast of Florida, and conditions are going to worsen as the storm moves a little bit closer. The Weather Channel's Justin Michaels is live in Sarasota. Justin, and you know, when we started talking to you, things were looking pretty good there, and they've really changed dramatically.
Yeah, this beach day for so many people who are enjoying this week certainly went downhill pretty quick there, Jackie. Good thing is I can tell you by tomorrow afternoon it should be a little bit better, and by the rest of the week definitely better. But for right now and over the course of this night, the best thing people can do is stay indoors, not be driving around, not be going places. Most restaurants are closed. There's really no reason to be out at this point, especially because from here on out, all the way through the early morning hours tomorrow, it's just going to be pretty bad, especially because we've got this storm coming through. This is Tropical Storm Elsa. We're not in a hurricane warning here. We're in a tropical storm warning, but the separation between where we are in Sarasota and where those hurricane warnings start just north of us is only a few miles. And the difference between the two storms we're talking about, which is the same storm, but the classification of a tropical storm or what's going to be possibly a hurricane not too long from now, it's really nominal. So flooding is going to be an issue. We've got flood warnings. We've got potential for flash flooding. We've got the potential for storm surge flooding. We've got the tropical storm warning. Just not a good night, folks. So remember, the course of this entire evening, staying in your house, staying in your hotel, your resort, wherever you may be, is the best place for you to be. Because, Dr. Nab, these conditions are going to go downhill very quickly, and we're seeing that, Dr. Nab, here in Sarasota as we speak.
Yeah, the bona fide tropical storm conditions are not far offshore. You know, sustained tropical storm force. I think people really are going to be unpleasantly surprised how strong the winds are, and we're probably going to see some damage.
A severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for our area.
Down trees, some power lines, and really awful driving conditions. So staying off the roads, like Justin said, is important. Now, it's really hard to get a really good handle on the strength of Elsa right now, just based on satellite. But help is on the way. The hurricane hunters, Air Force Base in Biloxi, Mississippi. So this will be another mission where they will come in from this direction. And the reason it's so difficult to know what the strength is based on satellite, if you've got a major hurricane that's got an eye, you can measure the cloud top temperatures. We have pretty good satellite estimation techniques for that. But when you have a low-level center that is an uncertain distance underneath this cloud canopy, that embedded center, that pattern, it's really hard to get an intensity estimate off of that. Is it tropical storm or hurricane? And the reason it's been a little lopsided today is because of this upper level trough over the Gulf, so it's kind of sheared. But if you look a little closer, you can see, look at the upper level outflow that is still emanating from the storm right around in the immediate vicinity. So it's not so sheared that it isn't becoming a little better organized. And you can see the low level center that had been peeking out there on the southwest side, not so much anymore. So it looks like it's trying to get more organized and maybe strengthening, but we need that plane in there to really know for sure. Now, we can measure the wind gusts on land, and it's still gusting near tropical storm force in gusts in Key West. We've been gusting over 30 and 40 miles an hour at Marco Island and Naples. Up the road a piece, Sarasota's been gusting over 30 miles an hour. Tampa, the winds are on the increase. And this is the area right offshore, right in here, where the sustained winds of tropical storm force likely are. Very heavy rains, vicious lightning. So the combination of all those factors is going to make for a very rough night. And it's not too far from now when from Fort Myers up through Tampa late tonight into early tomorrow morning, it is going to be really blowing. So we're going to have all kinds of reasons, Mike, to stay off the roads, the winds and the flooding.
For sure, Dr. Neb, thank you for that. Still to come on the show tonight, live coverage from the Florida Gulf Coast. Plus, we break down the timing as the storm moves inland.
Join me, Peyton Manning, and my brother Cooper as colleges go head-to-head in trivia.
With must-see TV.
I like it. I'm going to remember that. I'm a Tennessee alum.
Try not to be biased.
I'm a professional.
Capital One College Bowl. Check your local listings.
It's the lowest prices of the season on the Sleep Number 360 smart bed. It's the most comfortable, dually adjustable, foot warming, temperature balancing, proven quality night sleep we've ever made. And now the new Queen Sleep Number 360 C2 smart bed is only $8.99.
A severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for our area.
Will you help an animal who's starving today? An animal who's been left with no hope and never-ending pain. Go online or call this number right now because hunger hurts and no animal should have to suffer this way. Your gift of just $19.
A severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for our area.
Agonizing life and get them the food and care they need so desperately. Today could actually be the day you save a life. Go online or call now, and we'll send you this free membership kit. It's yours for taking action to help an animal in need today. Do it in the next 10 minutes, and we'll also include this one-of-a-kind t-shirt because you took action right away to show you care. For the animals who need food and kindness, please show them your heart and tell them you'll help. Call or go online right now.
Alice loves the scent of Gain so much, she wished there was a way to make it last longer. Say hello to your fairy godmother, Alice, and long-lasting